Okay, so what brings me here today and why did I bring you guys? A really good friend of mine from Burlington, Ontario asked me to create this protest and this event for our children and what's happening to them. If you don't know of her, her name is Monique McKay, and she's with independent journalism in Ontario, and she's been fighting this through the bones. She's been through a lot. Her children were in Australia when COVID hit. Sorry. And yeah, so she's been through the horrors, and she hasn't stopped. And when she reached out to me a few months ago to plan this as well, and I was sick and I wasn't able to do it. And she stepped up for the veterans after my husband got beat up in Ottawa in 2022, and she planned this.
Try and cover it.
She planned this event in Burlington to gather all the veterans together and supporting the veterans, and since then she's just keeping on the fight for the children and supporting in any way she can. She's been through pharmacies and she's been giving liability statements to the pharmacists on the jabs that they're still introducing to our children and to everyone else, and it's very interesting to see the reactions from people. So if you guys want to follow her, she's amazing. Independent journalism. She's on a little bit everywhere. Instagram, Telegram. She's everywhere. So today we're here for our children. Our children aren't okay. I have a 5-year-old and I have a 7-year-old, and they started their life in the system. They started daycare. My eldest went to kindergarten and she loved it, and then COVID happened and I had to drop my daughter at the door of school, not allowed to go in, and I had to watch her go in there for a very long time with a mask on her face. And then in September last year, me and my husband made the decision to keep her home. I decided to close my business and I decided to become a full-time mom. My husband is retired. He's a wounded veteran, so I also have some taking care of to do there. So the best for us, and it's not easy for everyone to say, I'm going to drop everything and raise my children the way I want to raise them. So I feel very fortunate to be able to do that, and I have great support in our community. I have to look at my 7-year-old daughter, though, every day to tell her and try to explain to her why she doesn't get to see certain friends or why we don't get to bring her to school every day. But I keep reminding her how we are doing the best we can for her at the moment, and we keep up the fight to be able to send her back there. Because if we don't fight today, and for what is being taught in schools, she will never get there again, because it will just keep getting worse. People here don't see it yet. You can see by the number of people here. I've talked about that. I'm from New Brunswick. I'm from a small community, and when I speak about keeping my kids home to my family, they don't understand. They absolutely don't. And I try to explain and explain, but they don't see it in their community, and they keep telling me, well, it's not going to happen here. Well, when they talk to teachers in the area, teachers answer them, well, we have no choice. That's the curriculum. That's what we have to say, or we'll lose our job. What did I answer to my mom? We all have a choice. We all have a choice to speak up for those children. And what really hurt me in the past few weeks has been seeing the COOP standing up. And good for them to stand up. You need to stand up. But when I asked the question, are they just asking more money? The answer was yes. Yes, because more money meant more resources and help for the children. Is that really the case, though? Is more money going to fix a broken system? Or should we just go back to what we know? And go back to the old days when we take the time to teach our children to be children, when we take the time to raise our children to know who they are. They're thrown in school at such a young age. They're forced to be with people that are in toxic environments. We are taught as adults to walk away from those toxic environments. So how does children that don't know themselves, getting pressure from other children or teachers' ideology pushed on them, how are those children supposed to know themselves? For me, I'm 32 years old, and I didn't know who I was till 3 years ago when I looked at myself in the mirror and I was like, who is this person? Who am I? And then that's when I started realizing who I was and the power that I had in myself and we all have in each other. And it's our job as parents to be able to show that to their children, to bring that out of them and to teach them to be true to themselves. So this fight is important, and it's for their future, and it's for them, and it's for the way that they want to live in the future. Raise your children, try to be home if you can, homeschool them for a little bit. How about a system of education where school starts later in life? What is the rush? What is the rush to kick your kid out of school in school at 5 years old? Do you know what's the rush? It's the parents have to go back to work. That's the rush. The government wants those parents to go back to school and bring their children to their government institutionalized building to be molded into their perfect little employees for future. How about handing your kids a book? That's what I do with my kids. My husband and I have been reading to my children since they were babies, and we haven't stopped. They get their books every night. Now my oldest daughter knows how to read. She knows how to read from Zoom calls with her. We're lucky that my mother-in-law is a teacher, so she's able to give her some lessons on Zoom call, but there's other ways. There's so much other ways. Children needs to be raised to learn how to learn. This is what the important thing is for children. After that, once they know how to learn, they can grab a book and learn whatever they want to learn. And this is what we need to teach children, and what is truly important for your values as a family. Find your own values and teach those values to your children. Go back to the old ways where a gift wasn't just material, that it was thoughtful and it was meaningful and it meant so much for you because it came from the heart. You couldn't wait to give that present to someone. Now, what do? We give lists for people for gifts. I know in my community that's what we do. That's not the spirit for me when people wants to show me they love me. So my message here is just love your children, teach them to be themselves, and give them their power. Show them how to find their own power within themselves, to keep on the fight, because the parents won't always be there for them either. So they got to find that warrior in them as well. Thank you. I have a few speakers here today. I have Nicole Doucette.